What is up everyone, Raf here from BNC Camera. Waterfalls are enchanting and exquisite, and they give off a dreamy, fairy tale vibe that most people are drawn to. But how do you capture a cascading waterfall without getting a blurry photo? In this video, we'll be discussing how to capture a waterfall's magnificence and beauty. So we'll be going over camera equipment, camera settings, using a filter, composition and focal point, and environmental elements. Okay, first up, camera equipment. Before you start snapping that gorgeous waterfall, you'll need to have all the right camera gear. First up, let's talk about some lens options. For wide-angle lenses, invest in a 16 to 35mm lens. A lens like this will ensure the entire waterfall will fit into your frame while capturing the foreground. For your close-ups and mids, consider bringing a 24 to 70mm telephoto lens in your bag as well. The next piece of equipment is going to be absolutely vital for you when you're trying to capture waterfalls. That, of course, being a tripod. Now, mounting your camera on a sturdy tripod is vital while photographing waterfalls. Since your camera is being held near a body of water, you'll absolutely need something sturdy and durable. You will be using a slow shutter speed, so it is best to reduce the shake as much as possible. I'm sure you'll want a clear photograph and not a blurry mess. Next up, consider bringing a camera remote with you as well. A camera remote will help out immensely to further reduce shaking on your camera. The slightest bump will result in a blurry mess, to include hitting that shutter button on your camera. Another workaround to this, of course, is setting up a timer, but you'll want to make sure your timing is on point. A remote will also help in cutting that downtime that a timer will have, so keep that in mind. Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about some general camera settings. First up, let's talk about shutter speed. A slow shutter speed will give the waterfall a slight blur while keeping the integrity of your background. The slight blur in the waterfall will give it that hazy look if that's what you're trying to go for. You can alter your shutter speed to your liking, but start off with a shutter speed of 1 second. In terms of ISO, you'll want to lower the ISO setting to prevent your photographs from being overexposed. A lower ISO of 100 will make your digital sensor less sensitive to the light. Moving right along to aperture, set your lens at an aperture of f11 so less light is being brought in. Feel free to experiment so you can find the best balance between shutter, ISO, and aperture settings. For white balance, this one can be a little tough. If you're in a forest setting, your camera might pick up green hues, and if there was recent rainfall in the area, it might pick up some blues as well. The perfect white balance isn't guaranteed. Because of this, you'll need to manually set this. See what an auto white balance picks up and experiment from there. With camera settings out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some filter options when you're shooting waterfalls. You can use neutral density filters if you don't think your shutter speed is slow enough. Using these filters will help eliminate some of the light entering your lens. Different filters will help you achieve the look you want in your photographs, and neutral density filters will help smooth things out and bring out the tonal contrast. Let's go ahead and discuss now composition and focal point. Waterfalls aren't just about themselves. Usually the landscape around the waterfall adds to that fairy tale effect. Absorb everything from your natural backdrop. You might notice a few things that should be in your shot to enhance your photograph. Be creative and showcase your waterfall from different perspectives to make it stand out. You can start with leading lines or rule of thirds composition techniques. If you need a refresher or this is your first time hearing about those techniques, we had already created a video discussing said techniques, so definitely check it out on our video section on our main page. But yeah, your focal point can be the waterfall itself, or try focusing on an element in front of your waterfall. Think of something like a log or grandma jumping in to take a dunk in the water. And lastly, consider your environmental elements. The environment can completely throw off the entirety of a photograph. A sunny, rainy, overcast day will alter your photo in so many ways. Not that you can control Mother Nature, but it's best to try and capture a waterfall during an overcast. An overcast will help pull out the ethereal colors you most likely desire. Also, try to take your photographs during sunrise, immediately after sunrise, or the last hour before sunset hits. This of course is referred to as the golden hours in photography. Waterfalls are an absolute natural marvel, and capturing that beauty is definitely something that should be on every photographer's bucket list. Hopefully what we had outlined in this video will help you out when the time comes to shoot the grace and sometimes fury that waterfalls have to offer. As always, if you found the video informative, let us know by liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment in the comments section about either your techniques or some beautiful waterfalls you've been able to capture yourself. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Raf from BNC Camera, signing off.